Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Today I've got a new kit video for you, and it's one that I've sort of done already. So you may remember that I put a modification in where I can have the lights on, but the headlights will stay off and they won't pop up. And I'll put a link to that video in the description and probably a little pop-up card up. It's actually quite a popular video. And a few people have asked for a little bit more detail of how I've actually done that modification. Now, I've been planning on this mod for a little while, so it sort of moves on from this one. I wasn't happy that we couldn't turn the external lights off completely, leaving the interior on. The interior for KITT is one of the biggest detailed parts, and seeing that illuminated is absolutely brilliant, but you might not always want the external lights on as well. So what I've done, and yes, I have actually already done this, but you'll see in a moment how I've done it. I had one of these little toggle switches underneath KITT, and that controls the lights. But I wanted the fog lights and the rear lights to be controlled as well. I didn't want to add more switches, certainly not this size. So what I have done, it's not completely worked yet because it's not in place, but you'll see that I've got a little set of dip switches in here now, and I can selectively control all the lights. So now all the external lights are off on KITT and the internal lights are still on. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see how I've done that, and let's get building. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. So you remember a while back I put in this switch here, which does stick down quite a lot below KITT, and that allows me to selectively connect whether I have the headlights pop up or not, and also the lights actually coming on. Now what I want to do is also do the same for the rear lights, so that when we power KITT up, I can have it so that just the dash and the interior lights are working, and the external lights can be optional. So I've just tested this with the rear lights, and what I'm going to be adding in, instead of that flick switch, I'm going to be adding in this dip switch. So as you can see, there's 6 circuits on there, and at the minute I've just wired them to the 2 circuits for the rear lights, and I'm hoping to be able to create a bit of a plug and play. So I'm just going to be adding in the wiring looms on there, and then you just case of plug these in between the circuit board and the lights, and then you will have the option on here to have any number or combination of lights that you want. So you could have headlights only, you could have fog lights only, you could have the rear lights only, etc. You could have the headlights pop up and not actually turn on. So that is my plan on this one, and obviously with this being a much smaller switch, you're not going to see it under the car. I will remove this one here, and this one will sit just here. I will probably make a little mount or something for it, but so far this has worked. So I just need to do the other circuits, just hook them onto this switch. Okay, so I've just pulled this switch out from the car. So this is originally what I had, and you can see all it has is the receiver plug, and we have a plug. Now all that does is just interrupts one of the cables for the lights. That was for the headlights and the motor. So I'm replacing that large switch with this. So as you can see, I've already got the 2 on there. So that'll be with the 4-pin JST connector there. That'll be for the rear lights. All I'm going to do is basically take these wires, which I know are the correct length and already part joined, and I'm just going to solder them onto here. Now, the exception of the rear lights, all the other lights and connectors on the car that we're going to look at interrupting are the 2-pin JST connectors. So I'm just going to add several in here. I think I only need 5 circuits that I'm interrupting. However, I don't have a 5 dip switch. So I am just going to use the 6 one, and I will just add the extra one in there. You never know when it might come in handy, have an extra circuit to be able to interrupt. Alright, so all I'm doing, just a bit of heat shrink on the end of the cable. I've pre-tinned the switch and the cable, so it's just going to be a case of touch these together. And we should have a nice solid connection. I'm just going to flip the switch over, and the opposite one we're just going to do the same. I do apologise that you probably can't see quite what I'm doing, but it's obviously a little bit fiddly. But again, let's touch those together, and we've got a nice solid connection on there as well. So we now have this cable with the 2 JST connectors, or the 2-pin JST connectors, I should say, and we have this one with the 4-pin JST connectors. I'm just going to add the other 3 here with some more 2-pin JST connectors, and then I'll show you that how we put that in the car. Right, so before I put it in the car, this is what it's looking like. I have only done the 5, mainly because I've just realised I've run out of JST connectors, so I do have just enough to do what I want to do. So I've got this cable here for the rear lights, and then I've got 3 others which I can use for the headlights and the motor, and I thought there was one more. Oh, the fog lights. So then I can control all of those circuits independently. So I'm just about to put that in the car, and all I'm going to do, I've taken out the other switch, as you can see. I'm just going to place this in the bottom for the minute, just while I'm testing. But it's basically just a case of plug the plug into the appropriate place in the circuit board, and then the socket will receive the connectors from the lights. Obviously make sure you get them the right way around. So if you've got M here, which is the headlights, and you plug it into this one, its corresponding one needs to plug into M on the circuit board. So I'll get that wired up and I'll show you what that looks like. So I know this is looking a little bit like spaghetti junction. It will be tidied up, and I am going to need some longer cable because that's not going to reach down where I want it at the moment. So I do need to do some adjustments to this. But as an initial test, I am really happy with that, and obviously now I'm not going to have the long switch that I had poking out underneath KITT. It'll just be a couple of dip switches, and to be fair, this is not something I'm going to change all the time. It'll just be as and when I want to switch it up a little bit, change what lights are on, because it might be that I turn off all the external lights, but have KITT still lit up on the inside, which is how I sort of envisage the majority of what I would do. And then when I want to, I can just turn these lights on. And I have already said that I probably won't display it too much with the headlights up and on, because I think it looks a lot better with them down, and I think it looks a little bit better with just the fog lights on. So the motor on this one will probably have little to no runtime, but that is how I am doing it. Right, so here we are. We have KITT obviously powered up because you can see the interior lights are on. So currently all these dip switches are in the on position. There won't be any sound because I have temporarily disconnected the speaker, but do the usual, press the button, and as you can see all the lights are on at the front, including the headlights. Rear lights are working just like so. Now obviously with the dip switch I can just selectively turn things off, so that's the rear lights being turned off. Just turned off the next one, which is the fog lights, as you can see. So we've just got the headlights on. Then the other two on here are the headlight and the motor. Obviously that will keep the headlights up because the motor's not running. We can just flip that one. So we've just flipped that one. So that's the middle one. That is for, that was the motor one. It's number 4 I want to think. A little bit difficult with one-handed. Right, so now we have just the fog lights on, but the headlights are still up. Now, so if we want the headlights down, we need to engage the motor, which it is. Press the button to turn everything off. So that is working absolutely fine. And obviously, if we had absolutely everything off like that, and we powered KITT up, we still get the interior lights, I believe these are. I have a feeling there might be a number plate light as well, so I might end up interrupting that one as well, which is useful because obviously there's a 6 pin on there. Told you it would be useful. But as you can see, with all the lights externally off, we still have all the internals working. So that is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I want. And it does mean that you can have whichever combination of lights you want on at any time. The only caveat with that is obviously the headlight motor, it only runs when KITT is powered up or down. So if you want the headlights up but off, then you do need to make sure that the motor is engaged when you power it up. Obviously the headlights themselves, which I think is that one at the minute. So I've obviously just powered up the headlights, and you can see just under here they're obviously shining through. And if I can just pull up the headlight, you can see that they are on, but obviously the motor isn't engaged. So you can selectively turn the lights on and off using these dip switches. So if I turned on number 4, that would be the front fog lights and the marker lights. And if you want to see how I've done these marker lights, there'll be a link in the description, and also I'll try and put a card just up here somewhere. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please do give me a big thumbs up. So that's a nice little mod for KITT. It's certainly going to be a bit of a game changer. Obviously with those dip switches, they're probably going to be a case of select and forget. So you can have it set to how you want it, how you like it, and then if you don't like it next week, change it. So hopefully you've got some inspiration from that. I still need to tidy up the rear end here. I still need to put all the back panels back in, but it has only taken me, what, 6 screws to undo to get to the circuit board. So it's a really good time to be able to do this sort of modification at the moment, without having to disassemble the entire car. But I'm really happy with that. Hopefully you've got something from it, and hopefully I've given you a little bit more detail, so maybe you can do it for yourself. If there's enough interest, I might look at doing a bit of a plug and play mod, and possibly look at selling that. So if you're interested in that, or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit the subscribe button and ding that bell, and then you'll be notified of future videos. Until the next time, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers!